I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, the place where y'all come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and the overall positive message. Today's message is inspired by a conversation that I was having with my therapist, and that's finding how not to get lost in other people, or finding out how not to lose yourself in other people. And the reason why we were talking about that, or what sparked that conversation, was she asked me, what self love look like, or what it looks like, if I had to date myself, or if I had to take myself out on a date, what would I do? If I had to, what do I enjoy doing? And I honestly had no answers for her, because I didn't, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know, as I've said before on here, I don't know, because I haven't shown up for myself a lot in the past. I show up for other people because I understand that I've done it long enough to where I know what it means to show up for other people. But showing up for myself, loving myself, taking care of myself, I don't know, because it's not really something that I've done a lot. It's not something that I have a bunch of experience in. So even in thinking about what I would do for a day, or if I was just to take myself out, the only thing I could think is just like little stuff like a dinner and a movie, something like that, something along those lines. So it really just got me to thinking, like, wow, I really don't I really don't know what it means to show up for me. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know. Surface level stuff, of course, I could just say like anime, comic books, you know what I'm saying? You can say some TV shows, some movies. This is like surface level stuff. But when I dig deep and I take that deep dive into myself and what it is that I like to do, or who I really am, or what it really means to show up for me, though, that's where my mind just draws a blank, because I don't know, and it just made me realize that I just know myself on a surface level, but there are so many people who I have uh, been there for, that very, that I know on a very deep level, that I know way more than just surface level things about. And it's just like, it's so crazy how easily you can get lost in trying to help other people, or helping other people. Don't even have to be trying, you can actually be helping them. It's so crazy how you can get lost in that. And that's what's happened to me, is that I've gotten so lost in helping people, and just, talking to people, or just being around people, that I haven't taken time to figure me out. I haven't taken time to figure out what it is that I want, what it is that I like. And I've just lost myself in those friendships. And it's even crazier because right now I'm going through a shift in my life where I've lost a good bit of those friendships, or we just disconnected. I don't want to say like I don't want to make it sound like anybody's lost their life, but I've disconnected with a lot of those friends. And so now it's kind of like I'm by myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not by myself, but it just feels like that, because people that I was used to talking to, I was used to texting, I was used to having conversations with, I no longer have those people, or I'm just disconnected from those people, at this time. So it's really, so with the conversation with my therapist, plus everything that's going on now, it's really having me thinking, like, you know, what do I want? What do I like? It's really just making me sit with myself and sit with my thoughts, and really just try to figure out what makes me smile, figure out what makes me happy, figure out, what motivates me, what's going to help drive me, what's going to help keep me disciplined, what are some things that I want to do on purpose. So that's another thing that she said. It's like, it ain't really, you're not going to find motivation until you go out and do things on purpose. What are some things that you can go do on purpose? You know what I'm saying? To get yourself, to get to the point to where you can have the motivation, or you can, have the discipline. You got to go do something on purpose, whether that's going to walk on the beach, hitting the gym, taking yourself out on a date, whatever it is, you got to go do those things on purpose. You got to go do those things intentionally to even get to the point to where you can find motivation, because you're not going to find motivation just sitting around doing nothing or sitting around doing the same things that you've been doing. You're not going to find the motivation to do something new. You have to go intentionally do something different with on purpose. So, it's just what I've been focused on this past week, is just figuring out what are some things that I can do on purpose to, number one, get myself out the house, number two, get me in new environments around new people, and helping to motivate me to or just seeing if there are things that I like, figuring out what I like, what I don't like, and things like that. So it's definitely been interesting, but it's definitely sparked an interesting thought, which is what led to this episode of the podcast, obviously. And it's just like, it's so easy to lose yourself in other people, especially when you're not showing up for yourself. You're not taking the time to know yourself. You're not taking the time to love yourself. You're not taking the time to care for yourself and things like that. It's so easy to get lost in other people. And then when those people go away, what do you have? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not going to sit here and say that there isn't a part of me that feels empty, because I've spent so much time around or talking to certain people. And now that they're not here, it feels like, well, damn, what am I going to do with my day? What am I going to do with my life? And then obviously, now that I've had that conversation with my therapist, it sparked something else in me. Like, and that's a more important conversation, is number one, how did I allow myself to get to this point where I don't even know me, where I know other people better than I know myself? And number two, what am I going to do about it so that I can get to know me? And so I believe that everything happens for a reason. So I feel like there was a reason why those friendships ended when they did. And there's a reason why I had that specific conversation with my therapist when I did, because I needed to see that you don't know you. You haven't been there for you. You haven't shown up for you. And so I needed to hear that. I needed to see that, understand that. And now I need to put in the work to get back to me, to find me, and so I got to find my way back to myself. And so I know it's not going to be an easy thing, for me, but I know that it'll be it'll be worth it. I know that there's something good that's going to happen at the end of this process, and this is a part of what I've been asking for. I've been asking to get to better places for myself, but I think it starts on the inside first. So I got to figure me out. I got to figure out who I am, what I want, where my desires, interests, all those things lie. And then I can start to do things intentionally to help get me to where I needed to be. But I got to find myself first. I think that that's one of the things that I think that's why it's been so hard to feel like I'm pushing forward. It's because, I just don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why I'm trying to go there. And so, I just have to take this time to figure me out, and just to find me and to love on me, and, and just support myself. And I think that because I've spent so much of my life helping others and supporting others and being there for others, it feels weird to now put that attention on myself, to now focus on me and focus on, what I want. And it's like, when it's someone else, I have no problem with, okay, let's do this, or how about this, just having ideas, making suggestions. But when it's me, it's just like my mind, for whatever reason, draws a blank. So it's like, I don't have any idea whatsoever what I want to do, where to start. And, and I think that that's okay. I think the main thing is just starting somewhere. I don't have to have a roadmap. I don't have to have anything figured out. I think the main thing is just starting. It doesn't matter where I start, how big or how small. Just start, and and I think that, and I know that once I started to accept that, hey, the little things matter just as much as the big things. So when I get ready to take myself out on my date, and and enjoy myself, it don't have to be big gestures. It don't got to be a big super planned out event. It can just be dinner and a movie. That's okay. That's a start. You know what I'm saying? And just go from there. I think that too many times I get caught up, and maybe a lot of other people do too. We get caught up on the grand gestures as opposed to just taking the small things. We're so excited, like, okay, we've unlocked this. Okay, I need to figure myself out. And now we think we got to figure it out in one day, or we got to figure it out in one session, or we got to figure it out, very fast. And it's just like, no, you're worth the time. You're very important to yourself, obviously. So it's worth taking the time to really figure yourself out. And if that takes a couple months, so be it. If that takes you being away from people, being in isolation for a little minute, so be it. Just, that was one of the things that I had to understand. It's like, I don't have to rush to find the answer into, I'm worth taking my time for. You know what I'm saying? Finding me, finding my happiness, finding my peace, finding my roadmap to these things. It's worth taking the time to get to where I need to be. And what I had to realize is, and I just had to realize that, I just had to realize, hey, it ain't about rushing. It's not about having everything figured out. Because even when she asked me, hey, what does self love look like? I'm thinking of some stuff. I'm thinking of some profound stuff to say. And it's just like, what's the point? What's the point of giving this answer that I probably don't believe, you know, and I certainly don't follow it. So I just was like, you know what, just be honest. And I just told her, I don't know. I don't know what self love looks like, especially for me. I might be able to say what something might look like for somebody else, but for me personally, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what a day, if I was to just say for a day, I'm going to go do all the things that I enjoy doing. I don't know what that day looks like. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't, because I don't know outside of, like I said, outside of like watching some TV shows, certain movies, some animes. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what a day would look like. So it's just like, when I think about it from that perspective, it was just like, why not be honest and just be like, hey, I don't know. I don't know what self love looks like for me. I don't know what showing up for DJ looks like for me. I just don't, because I haven't done it in so long. And I think that I've just been running from, a lot of these things that I'm starting to realize. I've been hiding behind helping other people as to why I'm not making time for myself. And, it sucks, once you start to realize, and once you really start to sit with yourself and you really start to think about, how many times you've ignored, well, let me speak for me, how many times I've ignored myself, how many times I've been hurting and I just pushed my feelings to the side to focus on what someone else is going through, on how many times I've been stressed, I've been whatever, and it's just like, hey, just push through it, or, just bury that deep down and, keep going. And it's like, I know for a fact that if, one of my friends or somebody was to tell me that they're going through something that they want to push it down, I would be the first person on them, on their behind about, not doing that. That's not healthy, this and that. And it's just like, but I ignored myself when I was doing it and when I was going through it. And so it's definitely a humbling experience to just kind of sit back and realize how you can show how I can show. Dang, I'm getting my words twisted up. How much I can show so much care for other people, and it's like I just never looked inside. I never looked at myself. I never looked in the mirror from a caring perspective. When I was wrong, I look in the mirror. Okay, you wrong for this. You need to apologize. You need to take accountability, all that stuff. But just from an emotional standpoint, I never sure, I definitely didn't show up for myself from an emotional standpoint of just being there for myself and supporting myself. Um, and so, yeah, it's just, it's definitely, I guess that's the best way to put it, is just a humbling thought to just kind of sit back and realize that, you didn't I didn't show up for myself, but I can count countless times that of me showing up for other people, and that same advice that I was giving them, I should have been taking myself. I should have been receiving myself. I should have been seeing the same signs that I was seeing other people. I should have been seeing them myself and saying, "Hey, this ain't it. You literally just told somebody else not to walk down this path or to avoid this situation, and you're walking right down that same path, and you're walking right into that same situation that you just told your friend about. You just told your friend to avoid." And so that just lets me know that I just was not, just showing up for myself. And so this next chapter in my life is going to be fun. I don't want to stay in a negative place, because I think that of course it makes me a little nervous, because I don't want to continue failing myself. I don't want to continue not showing up for myself, and I want to get out of that bad habit of not showing up for myself. So I know that it's going to be work, but I'm excited. This is work that I'm excited for. These are the type of things that I was hoping to get when I started therapy, is just realizing things about myself that I did not see, that I could not see, that I was just blinded by, or just blind to, let me not say blinded by, but I was just blind to certain things about myself. And I was just hoping to get that perspective from the outside that could show me, okay, oh, well, how about this? How about that? And so, definitely, just realizing that I have not shown up for myself in the way that I needed to. So I'm definitely excited about this next chapter, excited about what it holds for me, how it starts to change my outlook and my perspective on things, on the way I view myself, the way I view other people, the way I view friendships, the way I view my circle, all of these things that I know are going to be affected and impacted by me going on this journey of self-love and self-discovery. So I'm definitely excited. And so another thing that I learned about myself, or that I just learned that I have to stop doing, is I have to stop waiting on things to be convenient. I have to stop waiting on, well, I'm gonna wait until I don't want to do anything unless it's convenient for me, or I'm waiting on things to be convenient. I have to stop doing that. Like my therapist said, I got to go do stuff on purpose. I have to quit saying, "Oh, well, I'll wait for this, because I don't know how many opportunities I've let skip by me because I'm waiting till it's convenient to go do it." You know what I'm saying? When I have the means to go do it now, but I don't feel like it. I want to wait until I feel like it, or I want to wait until it's convenient for me to go do it. And who knows how many countless opportunities, or how many potential interactions I've missed out on, because I'm waiting for it to be convenient, or I'm waiting on it to be perfect for me. I'm just waiting on the last moment to go do it, or just all this procrastination that I've been doing, and it's making me, and I know that that's something that I can actively apply to my life right now. Is just doing things on purpose. And I mean, like, it could be anything. It doesn't have to have anything to do with finding myself. It can just be going to wash clothes, going to grocery shop, and instead of having, oh, my grocery shop day to day where I grocery shop, if I know I need something, let me go get it when I realize I need it. I could be driving home and I know I need gas, but gas might take me out of going to the gas station, might take me off my normal course to go home. But oh well, I know I need gas. Let me go get it. Instead of being like, oh, I'll wait until the end of the week when I know I ain't gotta whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just coming with those excuses and stuff to procrastinate, or just wait for things to be more convenient for me than, when I realize I need it. When I realize I need it, it may not be the most convenient time. So I don't do it, and I have to jump out of that. I have to get out of that. And so that's something that I've started to apply into my daily life like right now it's just doing stuff, even though it may not be convenient, and doing stuff and stop and trying my best to not procrastinate and wait until the last minute or wait until deadlines and due dates to do things that I know I can do, especially if I have everything I need to do it. Now, if I have to wait on somebody else to give me what I need to do it, then that's different. But if I have everything that I need to do it, I just want to try to start getting things done ahead of time. That way, I'm not waiting to the last minute and doing these rush jobs. So, overall, man, therapy has been great for me. And I'm very thankful that I started doing the therapy. It's definitely showing me a lot about myself and the way I interact with people, and the way that I view my relationships and my friendships and the way that I view family, and things like that. I'm just starting to see that there are a lot of things that I went through that have affected my view, and and I just didn't notice it. And I think the main thing for me that I'm excited. Well, let me not say excited, because I'm not excited, but I'm nervous. But I am ready to crack open. Is that just my relationship with my father, or lack thereof, and how it's affecting me? I think that that's the thing that's going to that's making me the most nervous, is just getting ready to step into that conversation. Because my father wasn't in my life, and unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year. I think, yeah, I think it was earlier this year. So, you know, we couldn't really have we can't have the conversation now, but there was plenty of time where we could have. And just me being stubborn, and me not wanting to be um the first one to have that conversation, or to reach out to him, because in my mind it was like, well, I'm not the reason why our relationship is in a bad place. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. Just having that mindset and not really getting a chance to resolve or to talk about any of the things that we should have talked about. So now I'm getting ready to talk about these things with my therapist, but my father's no longer here, so I can't have a back and forth conversation with him. But one thing that she did say is that I can still talk to him if there's something that I want to get off my chest. I can say it. I can still have the conversation. It just won't be a back and forth. And I think that that's probably it's one of those things that I know I didn't think so before, but we touched on it a little bit, and it made me way more emotional than I thought it would. So I know. So now I know that it's going to be uh, an emotional experience, an emotional roller coaster, like unpacking all of this stuff with him, because I never, whenever you would mention my father, my first thing would be to shut down. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to have the conversation. So I never even allowed myself to even think about how much I needed him in my life, because my thing was, no, I'm good. I'm just fine. My mom did a great job, and she did, but there were things that she couldn't do. There were things that she didn't know how to do. It wasn't her job to do. So it's like having just touching on that subject is just, it brought way more emotion to me than I thought it would. I thought we would just be like talking about it, and I'd be like, yeah, and then we would move on. But it's just like, it's a lot deeper than what I thought, or what I allowed myself to think. Because, like I said, whenever people would talk about my dad, what they would say, I look like him, I act like him, um, whatever. It was just like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to talk about that. Because I had so much hate for him, and because it's like, for me, you grow up watching your mom struggle to take care of you and your brother. You you start to build this type of love for your mom, and it's like in the respect and appreciation. Well, I did, and I think that, the more I thought about it, and the more I realized, okay, well, where are you? Why aren't you helping? Why aren't you at? And it's just a natural thing, especially for a kid, to have a lot of anger for. Well, for me, it was just natural for me to have a lot of anger towards him, because it's like, why aren't you here? Why is she the only one struggling? She wasn't the only one, participating in making me. And then, like, that frustration just turned into anger and hate. And it was just like, I don't even want you here. I don't want you to be around. And I think once he finally decided to come around, there was a part of me that, you want to be open. You want to try to have a relationship with your father. I didn't really want a relationship, but there was a part of me that was like, let's just see. And, and I just asked him why he wasn't there. And his response was just like, you can either forgive me or you can't. And so in that moment, for me, it was just like, well, if those are my options, then I just can't forgive you. And I think that, and I know from that point on, like, it just kind of solidified whatever feelings I was having. It was just like, okay, yeah, this is solidified, and I don't want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to have a relationship with you. I extended what I thought was, I'm extending this olive branch. I'm extending my hand out for a handshake. I'm extending a conversation. And, it was just, hey, you can either forgive me or you can. And then, and that wasn't what I wanted to hear. And so it was just kind of like, after that, it was just, what's the point? I don't want to play these games, and I don't want to do this anymore. So whatever I was feeling in that moment just kind of solidified, and I was no longer looking to have a relationship with him. And so, going back to once we started talking about and digging into this, about, digging into my feelings towards him, and where, a lot of my habits, good and bad, are coming from. And we started talking about, how my father made, or him not being there, might have something to do with this and that. I'm just thinking like, nah, it ain't got nothing. And then we get to talking, and it's just like, and I started to feel it. I started to feel those emotions starting to build up, and it's just kind of like, I just couldn't even. I didn't have words, because when I tell y'all, I promise you, I did not think that I would have any emotion when it came to talking about my father. I remember one of my homegirls said, like, you're going to get emotional when y'all get to that point and y'all talk about your dad in therapy. And I'm like, and I just remember thinking like, nah, you tripping. I ain't finna. Mm-mm. And sure enough, we get to that moment where and I mean, we're just touching the surface. We didn't really even go deep into it. And it was way more emotional than what I thought. It was more emotional than what I thought I had for the man. And it's definitely that's going to be like one of those things that I can see right now, that is going to take some time to kind of prepare myself for, and I may not ever be fully ready for it, but I just got to dive into it. So, like I said, that's one of the things that I'm kind of nervous slash somewhat excited, because I want to know, you know what I'm saying? I want to know what's in there. I want to, look, because I've built that wall up. When we talk about building walls, I've definitely built whatever emotions I have towards my father. I've built a wall, lock that, lock those emotions in a box. And I mean, and I buried that as deep as it could go. And so just for us to even touch on the surface and to see that those emotions are coming through, I know that that's going to be, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot on, me emotionally, but I'm ready for it, because I know that unlocking that is going to help me get to whatever my next level is, or get to wherever I'm trying to go. I know that this is something that's holding me back from opening up with people, from being as emotionally stable as I need to be. I think that this is going to be a big key to unlocking those things and to giving myself that closure and giving myself that peace of mind that I may not have. I do feel like this is going to be a big key to that. So I'm excited about it. But, just to wrap everything up, let me just start off by saying, man, therapy is a beautiful thing. And if you're thinking about doing it, please do it. Please give it a chance. And I mean, when I say give it a chance, I mean really actively participate. And I know that for some people, it's weird talking to strangers, it's weird talking to people that you don't know. But I'm telling y'all, if y'all get into it and y'all give it a chance and y'all really go through it, it can be very helpful. It can be very impactful, and it can open up a lot of things for you and about you that can help you get to where you to get to where you're trying to be. It can help you unlock your potential. But just to go over everything, man, just remember, stop losing yourself. It's first of all, it's very easy. Remind yourself that it's very easy to lose yourself in other people. It's very easy to lose yourself in helping other people and being there for people. So just make sure that you're taking the time to be there for yourself. Make sure that you're taking the time to fill your cup, to make sure that you're not pouring into others when you haven't even poured into yourself. Make sure that you're continuously pouring into yourself, taking time to pour into yourself, taking time to love on yourself, to support yourself, to figure you out in every stage that you go through, just making sure you're figuring out who you are, who you're growing into, and making sure that you're understanding, everything that you're going through, your changes, your emotions, your decision making, all of that stuff, man. Tap in and check in with yourself, man. Don't forget about how important you are. And I think that it's so easy to forget about that because you're constantly going to work, you're constantly paying bills, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you got so much stuff going on that you forget how important it is just to take time, just take a few seconds, a few minutes to just check on yourself and to be honest with yourself, to honestly tell yourself that you're not okay, and honestly tell yourself that you need a break, you need time, you need whatever it is that you need. You got to be honest with yourself, and you got to give yourself that time, that grace, that space, whatever it is that you need to get through whatever it is that you're going through. You got to give yourself that whatever it is, that space, that time, the grace, the love, the attention, the affection, whatever it is. You got to give yourself that. And quit. If you're one of these people, quit procrastinating, quit waiting on things to be convenient. Go do things on purpose, whatever it may be. Go do those things on purpose, because that's what's going to help you build your discipline. That's what's going to help you build your motivation. Yes, you may not feel like going to the gym. Yes, you may not feel like going on that walk. You may not feel like cooking that, doing your meal prep at the beginning of the week. Do those things anyway. Do them on purpose, and that will help to build that motivation and that discipline that you need. And as always, I want to thank everybody listening on whatever platforms y'all may be listening on. I love and appreciate that. And to everybody watching on YouTube, y'all already know, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I want all y'all to have a blessed day.